And so when we're working with in a client situation, or even on our own work, when we're reflecting on our own charts, the first is to translate the narrative that we're hearing into planetary pairs. And then we use the aspect logic to clarify the dynamics that are going on, and then reflect that language back to the native and the client in neutral terms so that they can see the dynamics that are going on. And that is part of the process of working with them to integrate some of these parts. So this is an example, kind of like an archetypal example we might say, where a client says, I'm getting really impatient with my boss and I erupt and say too much. And so we're seeing the dynamics between Mars and Saturn with that kind of experience. And then when the moon comes into contact with those, we can see how that might be really activating for the client. And then what happens is, we can then continue to take that further and look at, if this is in the work, how's that affecting the 10th house, different things that might be related to their career, or if we're looking at the first, ninth, and fifth houses for vocation or something like that, we might bring some of that into play as well. But it's really looking at understanding the archetype as we're working with them. It's really understanding this. When we're seeing a person talk about their boss and erupting and being impatient, we're seeing a Mars-Saturn dynamic that's getting activated by the moon. Then another example might be, somebody who has this dynamic where they want closeness, but they fear losing themselves. And this is a Moon-Venus versus Moon-Uranus archetype that's taking place. And so we can see the Venus part and the Uranus part both being activated by the moon. And so we can work with that client as if they're coming in and talking about relationships and the difficulty they're having with that, we can help them to recognize those different parts that are going on within themselves and being activated.